All right, here we are on July 3rd, just before the 4th of July holiday, about almost 6 o'clock on the 3rd, Tuesday afternoon. Guys, we have the server, we find out from Cueanon, and a bunch of other revelations on Cueanon drops. So this is going to be part one. I'm going to split it into two pieces. I'll explain that in a second. But nobody's on live yet, so that means you're listening to the recording. The only way you're going to ever see me live, if you want to, is make sure the little bell, the notification bell, toggles all the way. It says all notifications. And then you need to go to your device, make sure that YouTube's allowing notification. The notification of your device is allowing it to come to the front screen. But here we come, a bunch of people coming on live now. We got Audrey and SS and what's the name and DE and Terry and Audrey and he is my president, Dogfather, go to Mama, Karen, what is that? Funny Heart, Sorex, Phyllis, Kimberly, CM, Lois, Gadget Face, tons of people. So cool stuff. I just try to do that to give a little bit of acknowledgement. We got people from Kansas and where else? We got Georgia, Michigan, Atlanta, Georgia, Delaware, Palm Coast. Awesome stuff, Robin. Good to see you. North Carolina, Texas, New Zealand, Canada. We got the internationals coming on as well. That's awesome stuff. Virginia. So it's really excited to do that. So let's get into this, guys. I'm going to split this into two pieces now. It's not going to be the most convenient for my live viewers, but it's really on my potential lawsuit against YouTube for discrimination, right? We all know they're discriminating against conservatives and libertarians. And so I'm going to split it into two. I'm not going to use certain words in part one and not using words in part two because it's the algorithm, the automatic algorithms demonetizing them. And all that means is that I make it up, I don't know, 1/10 or much less than 1/10 of what I do in consulting for doing these videos when I look at the time, right? But they took 4 months to turn on where I could make any money at all. That was discrimination because they were putting liberal channels on almost within a week. But now the last two of my three videos have been completely demonetized. And so I'm just trying to get evidence about their discrimination. So I'm going to split up into two pieces, and I won't be talking about the religious part of things in this first one, and I won't be talking about as much about Cueanon in the second one. Right? So here we go. Let's dig into, although it's going to be hard because we're going to be talking about news related to Cueanon in the second one, and we'll be praying about Cueanon, but I'm not going to try to use that specific word. So I'm trying to see if is it the Jesus thing? Oh, just said it. Could have screwed that one up right there. Is it the religious things that is demonetizing, or is it the Cueanon things, or is it some other type of word? We'll figure that out as we go here. Don't say FF. Sounds good, Lonnie. I'll try that. That'll be interesting. So here we go. We're going to dig into the Cueanon drops right now. You look at this, and we saw this yesterday. Funny how he posted a Ben Garrison cartoon, which was pretty awesome, I thought. And if you look back at the post, that's where we ended up, was just right after his. We saw 1665. So we go to the first drop for today was 1666, and it's an article from Breitbart, and it says Nunes refers 10 Obama officials to House Judiciary and Oversight Joint Task Force. And Q's replying to that, and I'll show you that here in a second. It's right here if you blow it up. And it goes over, and I've read this whole thing. It's interesting. I'll post it so you can read it yourself. But obviously, this is big because it's digging into the whole judiciary oversight and the fact it's just the fact that there's 10 Obama officials. So it's moving into more than just the DOJ now, obviously, right? So that's the point that Q is going to get to here. Re-drops regarding Five Eyes, including FVEY, will be extremely important going forward. UK primary. Turn taken. And this is the big turn he's talking about. FBI, DOJ, which they've been cleaning up here over the last year, to state Hussein White House, including the CIA, other appointment start. So basically they're starting to look at all this stuff now, all the way to foreign bad actors, including obviously the UK and the Five Eyes. Rod Rosenstein deadline. We have the server. Woo! That's a pretty big statement. It's hard to believe it would be anything but the server of the DNC, because that's going to show there was no Russia interference. It was a thumb drive, most likely, based on what we've been hearing. And it was most likely Seth Rich, who was later taken out, right? So hopefully we'll get the vindication of Seth Rich after this. Now, here we are. Let's look at this in more detail. I want to kind of go up and show you how to use Cueanon.com. You go to the top, go to Cueanon.pub. Anon.pub, right? And he told us to look at 5 eyes. So if you go to 5 eyes, and there's 4 spelled this way. So you can go Control F, type 5 eyes again, and it shows I have 8 matches. I like to go back to start from the very beginning. The first time we see that, it's 9/12 on March 10th. 5 eyes is very important. It won't be around much longer. Relevant here, but not the focus. And Anonymous talks about Australia is part of the 5 eyes. And that is the 5 countries: the United States, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and and Britain. So these 5 countries share information and intelligence in official channels. Okay, they're supposed to. What we found in Spygate is they were sharing information in unofficial channels. And basically illegal activity, and this is all going to come out. Dan Bongino does the best job I've seen of anybody talking about Spygate. He has a book coming out here soon as well. So he has a podcast if you want to go see the Dan Bongino show. I think it's danbongino.com. Now, here's another one, just April 15th, regarding 5 eyes. Avoid U.S. data collection laws. Hussein, public dossier FISA. Not public. 5 eyes. UK, Australia, POTUS targeting using pushed Russia decoy meetings, campaign insertion. So we know this now. And this is all coming out in Dan Bongino's book, and clearly that they literally was a setup operation with insertions into the campaign with people like Carter Page, Papadopoulos, as well as several others that are all under investigation now, etc. Right? And interesting, they also had connections into the Hillary Clinton Foundation. Almost all of them did as well, especially Montford, right? So we'll see. Manafort. So Hussein, HRC, Loretta Lynch, Brennan Clapper, National Security, White House, Situation Room, Op, UK, Australia, Assistant Setup. So basically, we're going to find out pretty soon all this communications of them in the Situation Room, maybe working with UK and Australia, spying on Trump, most likely, right? And other probably nefarious things I'm sure we're going to learn. So we keep going back up here. We'll see the next one was on July 3rd. Riri drops. No, that's today. So that was the one. Now he also says this FVEY. It was another one that had some of them. So we have to kind of look at both of those. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to hit Control F and do it again. Search it. You can see there's 5 matches. I go back. Here's another one we didn't get to see. So May 10th, there's another one talking about 5 eyes again. And it says, why do former dignitaries still hold security clearance? Crazy. U.S. to U.S. logged flagged records. U.S. in New Zealand. No logs, no flags, no records. U.S. security. Clearance authorization 5-eye view plus docs take. So basically, when Hillary was in New Zealand, she could actually take documents, and it's not even logged. Can you believe that? When if you were in the U.S., it would be logged and flagged and recorded. And why do we give these security clearances? Why do we allow former dignitaries a security clearance? Welcome to the deep state. These shadow governments, they set it all up so they can continue to run things even when they're not in office. And they even have more security and nefarious activities they can do because things aren't logged. Insane. That's why he's saying it's not going to be around much longer. Thank goodness, right? Here's another one that says, hint, those responsible for spying 5-eye are present. He's literally saying that basically right now, this is that people on the Q site are here present. So we know that all the people that are going down, the deep state people that are in a panic, are here on the Q boards. right? That's what this is telling us, which is kind of crazy when you really look at it. So that's what we have when we research. I just want to make sure you can see how you can do that. Take any term, and it filters down from the 1,600 that we have plus down to only 4. And then you can search, just Control F or Command F on a Mac, and you will actually be able to get matches, hit the back key to actually go backwards through them. It's a great way to use this site to research. And again, my passion is teaching, right? Teaching, take complex subjects and teach you how to do it yourself, so you don't need me going forward. Teach people how to fish is really the key here, right? And so let's keep on rolling here. So there's a bunch more, as you can see. So that was 1666, as you saw on the whole 5 eyes. So they go to the next one. Here's another really interesting one. He reposts the same one we just read. And then he says, normally, and then this is the article, the Breitbart article, and he quotes one of the most important pieces of it. It says, normally, intelligence passed from a member of the Five Eyes Alliance, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the UK, and the US, to another member comes through an official channel. This is what Nunes found for intelligence sharing. However, Nunes, upon reviewing the documentation that formally launches the FBI investigation, said there was no intelligence shared through that official channel, meaning that the intelligence was shared through unofficial means. And that's why he's getting these 10, Nunes refers 10 Obama officials to House Judiciary and Oversight Joint Task Force, people that were in London, but basically this will clearly show that the FBI was lying. They said the investigation officially started in July based upon a Papadopoulos meeting in London. And this is going to clearly show that the spying was going on way back before that. I think the book that Dan Bongino is going to show that literally started back in potentially December of 2015. Like 7 months before or 8 months before and that's when Peter Strzok and his girlfriend were actually in London and getting that all started. That was way back in December in London, right? So all that stuff's going to be coming out. It's going to be a great popcorn viewing event when that does happen. Here comes, now he refers back to that same message again, and he actually reposts something all the way from 510, one that we just read, right? So he's just really emphasizing this. Read below, slow, and carefully. FVEY. Why do former dignitaries still hold security clearance? And he highlights the one I talked to you about. U.S. in New Zealand, no logs, no flags, no records, right? So that's why Hillary was in New Zealand, and other people go to the Five Eyes countries to basically illegally sell out the country. And I think we'll see a bunch of that coming out here soon. Here's 1669, and he just posted another one from April 26. Same thing, right? We just went and researched it. I showed you how to do it yourself, but he's posting some of these here. Not official product of Five Eyes. Listen carefully. No evidence support POTUS targeting. None. Do you understand the gravity of what's unloading? Evil and corruption. She had to win at all cost. You know why. How do people vote for these people? Q. This is April 22nd. You can go back and research that and even look at this video. Again, it was just talking more about the fact that this whole Five Eyes process did not come through official channels. So that's pretty much in detail now. I thought for 1460-73, I forgot to show you this. There's some great discussions on the Great Awakening side again in reddit.com. So you just go REDDIT, 2 D's, 1 T. 2 D's as in dog, 1 T as in Ted, right? So if you go back and you look at 1673, and that's what I just already read about the Awan brothers. So maybe I hadn't gotten there yet. So we're almost there. 1670. Let's go through this one first. You've clicked this one. You're going to open up this document, I believe. I'll just click on it to give you a better view of it. And this is just amazing. This is Mockingbird Media. I mean, just to a T. almost word for word. So they give the phrases at 4 a.m. to all these double agents in the media. If you do Operation Mockingbird, the JFK files clearly show Operation Mockingbird was going on in 1965. They had 40 double agents in the media at that time. They probably have thousands now. They get burner phones each week. People like Maggie Haberman have offshore money coming into each of her 3 accounts. She has 3 kids. And they basically read off a teleprompter the news they get at 4 a.m. Look what time these come out, 4:46 a.m. Trump lawyer Michael Cohen says his family, not the president, is his first loyalty. That was out of Washington Post. CNBC, 4:54. Here we go, just a few minutes later. Michael Cohen, Trump's former personal lawyer, says he now puts family and country first. Almost word for word. Now we got the Vindication Times, 4:59. A few minutes later, Trump's former personal lawyer says he'll put family first. And if you read the first sentence here, it's pretty much exactly the same thing as well. And then you got here we are at 5:12. NBC News, Michael Cohen says family, country have my first loyalty. What about Trump? Here we are at The Guardian on 5:07 a.m. Michael Cohen hints at flipping and says first loyalty to his family, not Trump. Here we are on the Daily Beast, 4:11 a.m. They were the fastest, right? At 11, Michael Cohen hints at flipping. My first loyalty is not to Trump. There's only so many ways you can take the talking point and flip it around, right? Here's a 4:58. Cohen says his loyalty is first to family and country, not Trump. July 2nd, 4:30 a.m. Half hour after the 4 o'clock talking points came out. Cohen, family, country first, loyalty, not Trump. Guys, this is the parroting. You can change channel to channel to channel. Look at newspaper after newspaper after newspaper. They say the same thing because they're not telling you the truth. They're telling you talking points for the day from the propaganda deep state. That's Operation Mockingbird. It's clear as day, right? Another example is when Trump went to Hurricane Irma to try to give some encouragement to the people that were in that huge hurricane in the Houston area. And every newspaper, every channel said lack of empathy, lack of empathy. Trump has lack of empathy. Trump has lack of empathy. Trump has lack of empathy. A bunch of parrots. There are a bunch of parrots lying to you. So this is the way I like to start with red pilling people. You need to let people know that they're being controlled by Operation Mockingbird. And you can show them this piece of paper. Copy this piece of paper and hand it to them. And again, 4 a.m. talking points every single day. Burner phones, money coming into their accounts, double agents. You can go back to the JFK files, and one of my very first video I did 4 months ago in February, right? That not my first video, but one of the if you just sort my videos by the most viewed, you'll see that the deep state takedown and military tribunals. I start the whole first 15 minutes is on the Mockingbird media, right? The first 10 minutes or so. That's the best way, in my opinion, to red pill people. So, and Q gives us more ammunition right here on July 3rd talking points that was received at 4 a.m. What will it be? What will tomorrow be? Coordinated. What happened to Stormy? Fake news. Q. So, obviously, all of this is fake news because instead of talking about North Korea or the economy or lowest unemployment in Hispanics and African Americans and women, instead of talking about what any true news station would be pointing to, they're focused on the fake Russia story constantly. And when they run out of steam there, they go to Stormy. They run out of steam there, they have to create something else. It's all trying to keep the focus on the wrong things. Excuse me. All right, let's get back to the rest of these posts real quick, and we'll wrap it up here. This will be a relatively short video as I cut it in two. So here is one that is 1671. I'm the federal courthouse. I'm at the federal courthouse. This is Lee Stranahan talking. Breaking, I'm at the federal courthouse, and it seems that Imran Awan's plea deal says that he cannot be charged with any previous non-violent crime. And Q reports this and says, think logically. Think and I think this is I would imagine this was a typo there. Think IG report. Think what's missing. Do you think this was going to be litigated in this setting? Cases that implicates some of the most senior elected officials. Treason is being handled by the appropriate office. Think national security. So this is where I think we're coming down to military tribunals, guys. And the fact that we can't, in the swamp in D.C., there's no way you're going to be able to hold people accountable, even if they're truly guilty. Right? And obviously we had to clean up the DOJ and FBI to even start the process. That's the setting the stage that Q talks about all the time. Right? And that is 1671. We go to 1672 here, and you'll see Donald Trump tweet from June 7th. So this is going back a little bit. Our Justice Department must not let Alwan and Debbie Wasserman Schultz off the hook. The Democrat IT scandal is a key to much of the corruption we see today. They want to make a plea deal to hide what's on their server. Where is server? Really bad. Well, he just told us we have the server, which is exciting news, right? And now what we have here is Donald Trump back on June 7th going back and talking about that. And it says, logically thinking. I'm just seeing if there's more Q posts coming. Other things are hitting my thing, my watch here. Logical thinking. Why was the case against Alwan filed under bank fraud? The result today is regarding bank fraud. See last. Connect. The swamp is being drained. Q. So once I did some analysis of this, etc., I believe this is all because all the real bad stuff they did was basically selling information off to the highest bidder, through working with the Clinton campaign most likely, as well as bribing, catching people doing things and bribing them. So that why do all the Democrats vote as a block? They're all, in my opinion, just like the movie The Firm by Tom Cruise, right? Where he was surveilled and they find something wrong with you and then they bribe you. So I think they're all controlled. They're all controlled because the Alwan brothers are part of what they did with the bribery. I think that's going to be coming out. And so they just did one deal to keep them publicly and working with them to talk, right? But the real bad stuff's going to come out later. I think that's why it's all coming. Now, here is an anon that talks about this. Anon's law fag here. So basically this is a guy, they use the word fag all the time. So he's basically a guy who knows something about law, probably a lawyer. Regarding Alwan, Anon's already figured this out by I can add that I have suspected for some time that the state charges were just a delay tactic until the main indictments are unsealed. It's also possible or even likely, given the way they treated Alwan, that he will be a prosecution witness. So they're going to do deals at these lower levels, guys. Who they really want to bust is obviously the people that have been doing treason and selling out this country. Since they would have never let him wander otherwise. Lots more winning in store. I'm enjoying the movie. And then he replies to that, basically giving credence to it, Q does, and says matter of national security, and he posts a new article, and this is Justice Government USAM Criminal Resource Manual. And so this is about classified information. So if you go look at this, this is the synopsis of Classified Information Procedures Act, the CIPA. So Classified Information Procedures Act. And this is very long, but a lot of Anons have dug through this in detail and found some nuggets. So this is that 1673 I was going to show you. So this is that post we just read, and you'll see on the Great Awakening site there's some discussion about it. And so a lot of cool posts here, but the one I really liked was the second one. I'm not sure why it hasn't got more upvotes. But they link to the post, and then there's people talking about different pieces of it here. After a criminal indictment becomes public, the prosecutor remains responsible for taking reasonable precautions against the unauthorized disclosure of classified information during the case. In such a leaky and partisan setting, all those sealed indictments make sense. And so obviously that's one part of this. Some other guy posted a lot of it, and then he bold some key portions of it, like saying, thus, Section 8A implicitly allows the classifying agency, upon completion of the trial, to decide whether the information has been so compromised during the trial that it could no longer be regarded as classified. So again, they have a lot of these things sealed because they're classified information. They want them to remain classified until they get everything sealed up. 5,000 sealed indictments per month. 8 months straight to tie all these things together. And look at this guy. This guy goes, ooh, what did I find here? And so this in parentheses is not his, but this is the conclusion. When necessary, be able to operate anonymously. Look at that. That is, without their connection to an intelligence agency of the United States being known to the persons with whom they come in contact. So basically, this guy say, is Q authorized under EO 12958 to speak anonymously to the people as Q? So I think so. I think if you really look at that, I think that's really what happens. This guy says, great find. And this says no, just means that they can use cover to collect intelligence without the link to the United States or intelligence agency. So they're kind of a disagreement here. And then if you look at this one here, some more people talking about other parts of it. Section 9 required the Chief Justice of the United States to prescribe security procedures for the protection of classified information in the custody of federal courts. They can disseminate classified information used in a case that is in possession of the U.S. government to others, and it has to be approved by the Chief Justice. And written so eloquently above, despite your immediate dismissal, is the case to use an anonymous agent with a fake name to distribute it. So basically, this is basically giving credence to Cueanon, right? And so it's just funny. I had the painful experience of watching another Isaac Green video where David Seaman and he were together. And I spent all 32 minutes, forced myself at lunch to watch the whole thing. And it basically was the most offending thing to not only me personally, but to anybody who any of my subscribers, all 22,000 of you, they're calling idiots. They're calling you an idiot if you're listening to me right now. They're calling you idiot if you're online right now. So, and basically, when we have overwhelming evidence, I did 6 videos of proofs, right? 6 videos on proofs, and they're overwhelming hundreds of proofs to show Q is who he is. And here, I think he even proves it more as we go through this. You'll see how did and just the whole Mockingbird Media thing he's pulled together, etc. And here's the last one we'll go over. Add another to the list: conspiracy coincidence. And so this is another article that's going over top Justice Department lawyer resigns, latest to step down. And this is real intriguing. This guy was considered like the Yodi, I guess, of the whole group. He advised some key Obama appointees, like right here earlier. He advised former acting Attorney General Sally Yates. So this guy's name's Scott Schools, and all of a sudden he just resigns during the most important time when Rod Rosenstein needs all the cover he can get. So this is huge news that he's going to be gone. So he was basically this expert that was help him cover everything. They've obviously got something on him, and he's resigning. Scott has provided invaluable leadership and counsel to this year's at the department, and his service is an example to all, Attorney General Jeff Sessions said in a written statement. He will be greatly missed, and I wish him the best in his future endeavors. That's basically one of those things you always say when you've just fired somebody, right? That's what we see a lot of times. And we know that Rachel Brand's out of there already. So basically the DOJ is getting cleaned up. As for School, Slate magazine called him the most important unknown person in D.C., right? And there's a lot of discussions about this right here that's I think is interesting as well. And they quote some more like here. For years, schools worked alongside another Justice Department mainstay, this David Margolis, who was known as Yoda of the department. When Margolis died, DOJ brass asked schools to come back in Washington to fill those shoes. So basically, it was filling the shoes of the Yoda during the corrupt Obama administration. And but unlike schools, the guy who's replacing him will not supervise or otherwise be involved in the overseeing of the special counsel. So this guy was literally meeting all the time with Robert Mueller. He was obviously advising Rosenstein, I would guess, and now he's out. So good luck during your impeachment hearings, Rod Rosenstein, I'm sorry. So that is the news we have, and this breaks down some discussions of that exact article, and there's some really good discussions here. Remember that Q said FBI and DOJ had to be cleared up before anything else could happen. This cleaning seems to be accelerating towards culmination in November. And so there's a lot of discussion about when all the arrests are going to happen. Most people believe it's going to happen before the election. One of the guys believe it's going to happen after the election. And so this was kind of a cool post here. It says, see the Yoda confirmation. LOL, too cool. And again, I just read this to you. For years, schools worked alongside another Justice Department mainstay, David Margolis, who was known as Yoda of the department. When Margolis died, DOJ brass asked schools to come back to Washington to try to fill those shoes. And he says, hey, look at Q 1645 in part. Divide they will try, fail they will. Together, where we go one, where we go all, Q plus. So just some really great discussions here that you can go look at here. He actually quotes a couple other things that I already quoted with you guys. And so that's really the report we have. And again, I'm going to come back on in about 20 minutes or a half hour or so to do the second part of the video that I always like to do, which will be part 2, which will get into Q News, as well as to get into some prophecy and do some pray and discussion. That'll be part 2. For now, well, God bless you guys. I'm going to talk to you guys for just a second before I leave, just to say hi. I see a ton of people here. If you want to put my blessed to teach, it makes me love your work, Rick. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hello from Reno, I see. A lot of discussions here. Wrong on illegals. Do your homework. Done with your ignorance. So there sounds like we might have a troll on. Trolls come on all the time. Brothers and sisters, we have to pray for our brother. Blessed to teach. Rick's court case. Okay, happy Independence Day. Yeah, just to be clear, I don't have any court case yet. I'm just looking for the future of trying to do my best. And part of it is I want to take on the social media. I want to use their platforms. I'm completely shadow banned on Facebook. I'm just recently fired back up my Twitter account. So follow me there at Blessed to Teach. Same spelling with a T-O. Blessed to Teach. You send me memes, I'll retweet them, do the best I can. So let's connect on Twitter as well. Let's use their platforms against them. And I'm going to use YouTube, show their demonetization, show how they delayed my monetization, and basically try to see where they are automatically taking me out, right? Thanks, Victory. Appreciate you. Thanks, go to Mama. Those of you guys who have time, would love to see you in about a half hour or so when I come out on part 2. But for now, this is exciting. We have the server. That means when all this comes out, they are up a creek. The whole Russian narrative is false. We've known that for good, but this is just going to be more evidence of it. Seth Rich is going to be vindicated. And so this is the Cueanon, I guess, decode, or I'm not really decoding. I'm using all the great anons. Hey, that's another thing I just wanted to mention real quick, is when David Seaman and Isaac Green and all these other Unirock, all these other people are just dishing Cueanon, they are being massively disrespectful of the anons. I mean, when you have red-pilled anons that run these boards that are brilliant people, right, that are literally decoding, LARPs get thrown out in days. Here we are since October 28th, and they're all support, almost the massive majority of these brilliant autists, these brilliant anons on these boards are in unison that Q is legit. They've seen all those 100 proofs I showed you, right? They understand them much more detail than I do. And to actually disrespect those people who obviously QAnon and the president are trusting is just unfathomable to me. So anyway, God bless you guys. We have the server. Talk to you in the next video in a second.